Welcome back to Mrs. Stewart's Crochet Club. Today we're going to make a traditional basic Christmas stocking. I'm using worsted weight yarn, so anything you can find in the store is good, Red Heart or whatever. I think mine's Bernat Premium, my go-to. This stocking was made with a 5mm hook, although I have made one with a 4.5, or you could go up or down in hooks depending on what you have. Let's get started. We're going to start with a magic loop. So I usually hold my string between my thumb and my index finger, and I wrap around and then make an X. I'm using my pinky finger to hold. You can go over and under and pull it through, and we're going to secure it with a 1 stitch. Okay. We're going to do one more chain. This counts as actually 2 chains. So we're going to say that's 2 chains. And then we're going to do we're going to be doing 7 half double crochets into the magic loop. This counts as the first. So it'll be a total of 8. We're going to add 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you struggle with the magic loop, you could also do the chain 4 and make a circle and then work from that circle. So this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so now we have it. We're going to tighten it up, and I'm going to insert my hook into the top of that first chain 2. A bit tricky to find, but we'll find it. Okay, so we're going to insert it into the top of the chain 2. This is always hard because everything's kind of moved around. So stick it in there as best as you can and close the loop. Okay, so you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches right now. We're going to chain 2, and this counts as the first half double crochet. And in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets all the way around, and you should end up at the total of 16. So there's 1, 2. And if I didn't mention that, the first chain 2 counts as the first half double crochet. So right now we're at 3. I love the half double crochet. It's my favorite stitch. It's so speedy. Okay, so as I've come around, I still have one more space. I'm going to just double check how many I have. So remembering that that chain counts as 1. That's right, I do have 15. And my last one is going to go into the same space as my first chain 2. So that makes it increase in each space. Now I'm going to find the chain 2 that I did first, and I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to pull through. Okay, so you should have 8 and then 16 in your round, and the next row is a increasing row. So we're going to start with a chain 2, 1, 2. This counts as the first half double crochet. In the next stitch, which is a little bit wonky because this pulls it a little bit, but we're going to put it right there, we're going to do an increase. So 2 half double crochets in the next space. A little bit hard to get that first one. It just gets pulled a little bit. So we're just going to stick it in there and do 2 half double crochets. The pattern here is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 when we're increasing in the round. Oops. Okay, so there's 1, and increase. We're going to do another 1 in the next stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2. So an increase, 2 half double crochets. And this is going to be the pattern all the way around. 1, and then increase. 1, 2. Okay, so as I'm getting to the end here, I have 1, and then the last 2 should be in the last stitch. 1, 2. Give yours a quick count. When you're done, you're going to find the top of that chain 2 and insert your hook and pull up a loop. Okay, so you should have 3 rows, 8, 16, 24. The next row is going to be another increase. We're going to chain 2, which counts as the first half double crochet. And we're going to go another half double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. One and 2. In the next stitch, we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and then another half double crochet in the next. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets as an increase. So the pattern here is 1, 1, increase, 1, 1, increase. So it's essentially 2 half double crochets and then an increase. 1, 2, increase. I'm just here at my last stitch with my last increase stitch. And then I'm going to find the chain 2 and I'm going to go into the top stitch. Okay, so this is the 1, 2, 3, 4th round. You should have a total of 32 stitches. And the last increase round for the toe, we're going to chain 2 again. And we're going to continue an increasing pattern. So it's going to be 3 and then increase, 3, increase, 3, increase all the way around. So yarn over into the next stitch. Once again, it can get pulled by that join. You kind of have to work it in there. In half double crochet into that stitch. And another one into the next one. So we have double crochet, or sorry, we have half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, increase. Okay, so 3 more half double crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. In the next stitch, increase. 1, 2. Continue that pattern, 3, increase, 3, increase until you get back to the start. Okay, so I've made it around. After this, you should have 5 times 8 is 40. You should have 5 times 8 is 40. You should have 40 stitches all the way around. You're going to attach to the top of the chain 2. Pull it through, and this is the toe of your stocking. I think it's a good size toe. The next rounds will be no more increasing. It'll be a straight crochet for a certain number of rows. I'll let you know in just a sec. Okay, so with the toe completed, we are going to move on to doing the body of our stocking, and it's just going to be 40 stitches all the way around for 14 rows, but I'd like to show you how to eliminate the seam. We're going to chain 1, just chain 1 for now, yarn over, and then into the next stitch, you're going to do your half double crochet. And like I said, for the first couple of rounds, the seam is going to be a little bit weird, but it will sort itself out as we go. So doing 40 half double crochets all the way around. I'll show you the first couple of rows. So here's the first one. Okay, so I've made it around to my last stitch. I have counted and my count is correct. That's 40. This is the chain one that we did. We're just going to skip over it, leave it as it is, and we're going to just continue with half double crochet into this actual real stitch. And you'll see several rows up how this seam that is started is not going to continue. So I've actually want to replace my stitch marker or my yarn tail, stick it right in there and continue going for 40 stitches, 40 half double crochets for 14 rounds. It should be the row count when you're done should be 19. So you can count, if you lose track, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far I've done 6 and a bit. So keep track of your rows, and if you forget, it's okay. I love the spirals because it's easy to see where the next row starts. Keep going for 14 rounds of 40 half double crochets, and then we will get started on the heel. Okay, so we have finished the toe and the sock or the foot portion of our crocheting. We're going to go on to the heel now. At this point, you can change colors if you'd like. For me, I'm just going to continue with red. My heel is going to be red. If you want it to be white or green or something else, this is where you would change colors, but we're not going to do that for this one. We want to do the basic stocking. So we're going to be doing some decreases, and then we're going to be doing some increases. Okay, so I'm going to add my contrasting thread to my last stitch. So in the next stitch here, I'm just going to add my contrasting thread just to mark where we're going to be coming back to. So this is going to be an unused stitch for a little while, but we're just marking it. Oops. But we're just marking it. You could use a stitch marker if you'd like. I can't find mine, so there we go. We're using a contrasting thread. If you are worried about this coming undone, you can just add a little bit of a tie to it and snip it off later. Just tying it. That'll be fine. Stitch marker is probably easier, but as I said, I can't find it. Okay, so here we are at this portion. We're going to be doing some back and forth work here. So to start the first of the heel, you're going to chain 2. You're going to turn your work and do 1 half double crochet together in this stitch and this stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, and then pull up a loop, and I'm going to stop. Yarn over again, insert into the next loop, and stop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. So that is stitching 2 of them together. Now we're going to do 14 half double crochets, just plain ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, so after you've done your 2 together, 14, now you're going to do 2 more together, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, stop, yarn over again, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 5. That is the first row. Now we're going to chain 2 and turn our work again, and we're going to be doing another decreasing row in the opposite direction. Okay, so our next row, we are chained 2. We're going to go in and decrease again with half double crochet 2 together, yarn over, insert into the first stitch, yarn over, insert into the second stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 5. Now we're going to go 12 half double crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't realize this cord was in the way. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we've done 12 across. We're going to do another decrease in these last 2 stitches. It gets a little wonky from the other one, but I can see there's one here and there's one right there. So I'm going to do my decrease again, yarn over into the first stitch, yarn over into the second stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 5. Okay, so that's the second decreasing row. We're going to go on to the third one, chain 2, 1, 2. Turn your work. We're going to be decreasing on either end with 10 half double crochets in the center. Yarn over, insert into the first stitch, yarn over into the second stitch, yarn over and all the way through the 5, 10 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 10. Okay, and at the end of this one, we're going to do the decrease again. I see my 2 stitches there. Yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, insert into the second one, yarn over, and pull through all 5. Okay, so that is the third row. We're going to go a 4th row, same pattern. We're going to decrease on either end, but this time we're going to have 8 stitches in the middle. Okay, so let's do that. All through all 5, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're back to our decrease. There we go. So that was the 4th one. The 5th decrease is going to be decreasing on either end and then 6 half double crochets in the middle. So let's chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work, and we'll do our decrease, insert, yarn over, insert again, yarn over all through 5. Go for 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our decrease, yarn over, pull through all these. Okay, so that is it for our decreasing. This is like, if you imagine this is your foot, that is where the heel is, and then we're going to make one go up the side, like up the back, so the back of the heel. This is the base of the heel, and then we're going to do the back. So what we're doing here is we're going to be increasing up to 5 times. So we're going to be increasing 5 rows. Okay, so we start with a chain 2, 1, 2. You're going to turn your work. To increase, we do 2 half double crochets into the first stitch. There's 1 and 2. Then we're going to, in next 6 stitches, we're going to 1 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to find this, when you do the decreases, the stitches kind of get muddled. We're going to find the top of that and do 2 half double crochets as an increase on the end. 1 and 2. Okay, so it looks like that. It all comes together in the end. I found the first couple of times I made the stocking, I was concerned about the heel, but it comes together. So it might look a little bit wonky, but don't worry about it. The next one, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work. In the first stitch, we're going to increase, do 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 8 half double crochets across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in the last stitch, which is a little bit hard to find, like I said, a little hard, I have to turn my work and see, oh, there's still a stitch there. We're going to do our increase again, 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, that is the next increase. We're going to be doing the next one, chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. Increase in the first stitch with 2 half double crochets, 1, 2. We're going to do 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The last stitch gets an increase. So 2 half double crochets in this little thing that's hiding there just a little bit. 1 and 2. It's getting bigger. Okay, the next one is an increase with 12 between the 2 increases. So chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. In the first stitch, we're doing 2 half double crochets. 1, 2. Now we're going to be doing 12 half double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the last stitch, as the previous rows, gets an increase of 2 half double crochets. There's 1 and 2. Okay, and we're doing our last increase now. It's going to be the same, but there'll be 14 stitches in the center. So chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work. Okay, first stitch gets an increase, so 2 half double crochets. Then we're going across with 14 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, sorry, 13, 14. I lost count because I have 2 little boys who are playing outside right now, and I have to check on them, and I had to put it down. Boys. In the end, we're doing 2 half double crochets. And that is it. So that is the heel right there. Super, it's actually not difficult if you can go back and forth. And what we're doing here, you'll notice that you should end up where your stitch marker is. So you should be on the same end. If somehow you're on this end, then there's a mistake. There's something went wrong. We're going to be continuing around the stocking, and this is going to become a seam that we're going to sew up in the end as a finishing touch. So this is, initially I was worried that we'd have to crochet down the side of that, and I find that's tricky, but this is not the case. This is much easier than I first thought. So now we're going to continue doing the leg part of the sock, if that makes sense. So if this was your stocking, it would be going, this is the heel, and we'd be going up. So to do that, you're going to get to your stitch marker, and let's get rid of that. Get rid of my little makeshift stitch marker. Okay, so where your stitch marker was is where your first stitch is going to go. This is actually so easy. So my stitch marker was right here. 22, from this space, we're going to do 22 half double crochets. Let's see if we can get that to look good. Here we go. 1, it's a little bit wonky. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, sorry, it gets a little bit wonky there. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so we got 22 from this join to the edge of the heel. Now, if yours is not working out to 22 and it's 21 or 23, we're not going to worry about it too much, because this portion is just going to be straight growing the sock. It's not going to matter too much. So next we are going to, okay, so in the corner, we're going to be sticking this through 2 layers. So yarn over, insert through this layer, and then go up to the top of your heel, and where we had the chain 2, you're going to insert your hook into the chain 2, yarn over and pull it through, and then complete your half double crochet by pulling that all through. I kind of tighten that up. It's not going to be super noticeable if it's not tight. We are going to be seaming this together, so if there's any gaps, we can also do that. Now we're going to continue across the top of the heel for 18 half double crochets, and now I'm guessing if I'm going to be right here. So it's right here. It's a little hard to see. Yarn over, half double crochet in that stitch, and then 17 more. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, oops, and 18. Okay, ooh, phew. I made it around and my stitch count is correct. So it should be 22 and 18. So a total of 42 stitches. Once again, if you have it connected and it's looking something like this, and you have 44 stitches or 43 stitches, it's not going to matter so much. It's a Christmas stocking. It's not going on someone's foot, and it doesn't affect the pattern if your stitch count is a little bit off. The next section of this stocking is you're going to be crocheting about 20 rows all the way around. So we're just going to be continuing. It's going to be a little awkward in the corners to begin with, but it will straighten itself out. Place your stitch marker right here where you are. My stitch marker being a little scrap of yarn. And you're going to continue around this. It's right here. It looks weird. It's like a bridge, but it's going to be okay. So stick it here. It's going to be a little bit unstraight for a while until you get a few rounds in, and then it'll kind of settle itself. So you should be doing 42-ish stitches per round for about 20 rounds to get a nice long body on our stocking. Okay, so I finished my rows. It's approximately 19 to 20 rows up. So this is what we're at now. And hard to get in my frame here. Let's see if I can make it smaller. Okay, so here is where we are. I finished my toe, my foot, my heel, and the body of my stocking, and the last of my red color. I'm going to finish off. Technically your stitch marker should be here, but for this next row, we want to be where the heel is. So you can either go around and meet to that spot, or you can pull it out a little bit so that you're kind of at the back. At this point, we're done with the red, so we're just going to take our scissors and snip that off. My darning needles out of the way. And I'm just going to pull this one out. And I will weave that in later, or I will go over it with the next color. Before we add the next color, we're going to take out our darning needles, and we're going to sew up the toe and the heel. Okay. All right, so we're going to turn this inside out. Okay, there's the inside out of it. And I'm going to just take the toe. Don't skip this step. Make sure that you are securing the adjustable loop round, because that is where it is weak. I've made projects before where I didn't weave in my my center well enough, and it came apart like gifts for people. So I feel really bad about that. So let's make sure this is secure. Putting my hand in there. I'm just going to weave this through a few times and make sure it's nice and secure. There we go. I don't know if you can hear the kids playing outside, but the neighborhood kids are out. I'm trying to do this when they're not in the house or they're not nearby, but kids, they make lots of noise. I'm going to go a few times around this center. There we go. Okay, I feel like this is good for me. If you want, keep going and tie it up really well. Grab my scissors and just snip off that end. And that's good for me. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, so the hole where the heels are joining, we're going to just flip it a little bit and seam it as if you would any other sort of sewing project. Put these two sides together and you're going to sew along that space there. So you're going to have to grab a piece of your red yarn, put it on your darning needle, and sew up that seam. And you're going to be doing the same thing on the other side as well. Make sure they're lined up well. There we go. I like to make my yarn sort of interfering so that I can go over top of it as I'm sewing. I think that makes sense. Interfering. I put it so it's going up the middle. Okay, so just keep going all the way to the end of that seam. Okay, so I went ahead and I did both sides. It's a little bit rough from the outside, but nobody will notice. So let's flip it inside out. Got some dust in there. And this is looking so good. I love this. Okay, so the stocking is done. It's not quite done. We're going to do the top edge of white in single crochet all the way around. You can do as many rows as you want, depending on how big you want your stocking top to be. I think we're going to go for about 8 to 10. I guess it depends on your preference. So you're going to grab your contrasting color, whatever color you're using. I'm going to go with the traditional red and white. And right where this is, so this, it's kind of loose. We could have sewn that in, but I'm planning to go over top of it. In the next stitch from that, right here, I'm going to attach my yarn. Okay. And just to attach it using, slip it on. And I'm going to go straight into the same stitch we just attached to with a single crochet. And I'm making sure that I'm catching my tails, and we're going to do a single crochet all the way around. Maybe your stitch count is the same as mine, maybe it's different, but as you can see, it doesn't make that much difference if we're slightly off or if we're the same. We're just doing white all the way around to the other end. Okay, so I made it around, and I'm just going to continue into that very first white stitch and keep going. So hook that into there and then just keep going around and around. I think 8 or 10 rounds would be good to get a nice thick white border. So now it is your time to drink coffee and finish up this stocking. Okay, so I finished my white rows. I ended up doing 8 rows. I can see, and on, if you wanted to make this less tight, it's a little bit tighter than the rest of it because it is a single crochet. If you wanted to have it more loose, like the body, instead of doing single crochets, you could continue doing double, but it's supposed to be looking a little bit tighter at the top, like a regular sock. So that is a choice whether you want to do that or not. Now I finished at the end, so right at the edge of the sock. We're just going to do the loop, the hanging loop, if you want to do a hanging loop. So this one is super simple. All you're doing is chaining 20. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then you're going to insert your hook. Well, let me get some of this. Then you're going to insert your hook into the same space where this is coming out of. So the last stitch that we did. And we're going to do a slip. So slip that right on through. And it makes a nice little hanging loop. If you want your loop to be bigger or smaller, you'd make more or less stitches, but 20 seems to be a good number. I'm just going to go a few stitches in because I like the security of it all. And I'm going to cut my string, pull this all the way through. I'm going to grab my darning needle. We're done with the hook, hooray! This project really doesn't take that long to do. It's quite a simple thing. The only little complication is the heel, but I think if you carefully follow the instructions, it's a quick job, very quick job. Now I've had children and life interrupting, but I believe I can make one of these in a day. I could probably make 2 in a day if I want to be showy offy. So just weaving my ends in. Oops, it's giving me a hard time. Weave it in a few times, make sure it's nice and secure. And then cutting off the excess. And my red tail on the inside, I went over it while I was crocheting. I crocheted over it, so I'm just going to snip it off. There you have it. Our stocking is complete. All you need to do now is go to the store and fill it with a whole bunch of stuff, or leave it for Santa Claus to fill up for you. I hope you enjoyed this project. Not too difficult, basic standard stocking. You could get some embellishments to put on there, sew something on, or just leave it nice and simple as it is. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have not already, please subscribe and leave a comment or a like. How was this project for you? Thank you.